Okay, so we're back for training number 2, and in this training, we're going to continue to expand upon the selection and the sourcing process, and we're going to jump straight into the sexy stuff, right? The launch and the automate. How do we launch our product, get it on page 1 of Amazon, and let it stay there and sit there for as long as we can? And number 2, how do we automate this whole process so we don't have to do a heck of a lot, kind of like I do? And so it all starts with the launch phase. Now, I want you to think about this, and I've briefly touched upon this in some other training I've done. When you first put a product on Amazon, it's almost like it's born into the Amazon world, and Amazon likes that. They actually assume that you're going to come out there guns blazing and you're going to be a superstar product, so they send you a lot of extra love. So a good friend of mine named Howard calls this the honeymoon period, and trust me here, the honeymoon period only lasts 6 weeks unless you nurture that relationship. So I'm going to show you how to make that honeymoon period last a long, long time, not just 6 weeks like everybody else. And so it all starts with creating and optimizing our listing. And that means that we're going to have to put a listing out there on Amazon, make sure that it's optimized to rank for many keywords and that it's telling the algorithm what it should rank for. So the way we start with this is I'm going to use the simple and easy method to do this. Figure out your #1 keyword, which we should have already done by now. If we haven't, I'll show you a quick hack on how to figure that out. And what you want to do is after you know that, you want to actually enter that keyword in Amazon and find who your top competitor is that's ranking for this keyword at the top and who's selling well. And you want to pay attention to their bullets. If they're using a caps lock on the beginning of their bullets, you want to write those bullets down, and that's the bullets that we're going to work from and actually reword. And we're also going to look at rewording their title, but we first have to figure out what our top keyword is. So I'm going to show you a free tool that you can use that's going to show you all the great keywords. And I'm also going to show you a paid tool that you can use, because remember, we're doing both bootstrap method as well as the full automation method. Now you're going to use that keyword, put it at the beginning of your title, and make sure that your title is readable, not just keyword stuffed. You want to make sure that it makes sense if a consumer comes across it and it reads well so that they're excited to look at your product and then buy it. And then with the rest of the keywords that you actually collect during this particular phase, you're going to sprinkle those throughout the actual listing, including putting them in the title, in the bullets, and the product description so that your product is properly optimized. And the last thing that you're going to want to do is take note of the images that you like best on all these products so you can quickly send them to your outsourcer. It could be your graphic artist or your photographer. You more than likely are going to have to spend some money on this, because I'll tell you one thing, the very first thing that gets somebody to click into your product listing is your photos. So don't skim on photos. Pay a professional photographer and or pay a graphic artist to make sure that your photos stand out from everyone else. So let's go ahead and execute this step by jumping into Amazon and just making this happen. And so what we'll need to do is we'll need to find our Amazon page here, and we were looking at a blackhead suction vacuum. So let's go ahead and continue to do that. We think it's blackhead suction vacuum, but right now Amazon quickly is telling me that it's blackhead suction remover or blackhead remover are the two main keywords. So Amazon will also tell you, but let's go ahead and go with the fact that it's blackhead remover, and let's see what pops up, because we are dealing with the suction vacuum. And sure enough, there's all sorts of things that pop up for blackhead remover that look like the same vacuums that we're thinking of selling. So we can also Google sonar tool and click in the sonar tool and then grab the ASIN over here from the best selling product on Amazon. So we'll skip the sponsored listings and we'll come down here, and we're talking about the suction vacuum. So this one is selling extremely, extremely well, but it's a set like this. Let's see. Now blackhead remover seems to be like it's moved into a few. So let's go ahead and take it a step further. Blackhead remover. What does Amazon tell us? Blackhead remover vacuum. So we're going to go with that keyword because we saw too many of these like little utensils. And we'll skip the sponsored listings, and we're going to jump into the best-selling one, which looks to be this one. And we're going to grab the ASIN. So right here, thanks to DS Amazon Quick View, we're going to copy that ASIN over, and we're going to paste it into Sonar Tool. And we're going to let Sonar Tool tell us what our top keywords are. And that one doesn't pop up yet, so let's go ahead and grab another one that looks like it's been selling for a while. We'll grab this one that has 723. And I'm going to paste it right in here. And here we go. So this is telling us what the top keywords are, with 5 being the maximum and the best keywords. And as little as 3 and even 2 and 1 will also give us some pretty good ones. I like to focus on everything that's 2 or higher. And I want to copy and paste all this. You can also download. You might need to register for their site to get that. But I can tell quickly that the best keywords are blackhead remover, blackhead vacuum, and pore vacuum. So those are the ones that are really like crushing it. So now I have an idea of what should be at the beginning of my actual listing. Let's now go ahead and do part 2 of this, which is finding our top competitor. And you'll probably want to look at a couple of them, but I'm going to jump into this one as well as this one and probably this one down here. So let's start with this one down here. And I'm going to copy their title. So blackhead remover vacuum, blackhead vacuum rechargeable. Now again, that doesn't read well, right? Blackhead remover, blackhead vacuum rechargeable. You don't have to repeat keywords. As long as you have the keyword in the title once, Amazon takes that as once, and that's good enough. But these guys put blackhead, 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 and blackhead. That's too many times. There's too many blackheads. So you definitely need a suction vacuum there. And so I would grab blackhead once and only leave it in there once. And then I would look over at their actual bullets, which I'm assuming aren't going to be good just because of the fact that they had blackhead in there 4 times. So I'm going to skip theirs and I'm going to go to another one. But I'm going to just note if I see any pictures that I like. And I'm assuming that I'm not going to like them because of the fact that they didn't do a very good job with the title. So that already like disqualifies them. So let me go in and find somebody else that's doing a pretty good job of selling, and that'll be these guys. And let's take a look. Blackhead remover pore vacuum, and then this is their brand name. Facial pore cleanser, electric acne comedone extractor kit, USB rechargeable blackhead suction tool with LED display. I still don't like the way that reads, so I would probably even skip them. I'm not a big fan of these pictures because I think this is like almost too graphic, and at some point Amazon's not going to like it. So I'm going to skip them. I'm not a fan of that actual listing. Let's try one more and see if we can find somebody that's doing this right. I'm going to make the assumption that these guys are not because they have this thing as their main picture. So blackhead remover, vacuum suction, facial pore cleanser, cleaner, electric acne. So it's terrible. What I can tell you is by looking at this niche is it would be pretty easy to dominate it, because I'm not really finding anybody that's doing a good solid job of this. So I'm going to jump into another niche where I know people are doing an extremely good job and show you what good. I would continue to search though if I were you. If I was going to do this for good images. Let's look at this guy. Blackhead remover pore vacuum, upgraded strong suction rechargeable electric blackheads removal tool, pore cleaner, zit popper. It's just bad, very, very bad. Now their images are a lot better, so I would probably look at them, but so far everything just totally sucks. Let's go in and look at brain pills and see if we can get an idea of people that are doing this good. And it thinks I'm a robot now, so let me just do it incognito. I'm actually kind of used to getting blocked by Amazon, period, because I do so much searching. So I know for a fact that these guys do a tremendous job of their marketing, and you'll notice their bullets scientifically formulated. These are the type of bullets that you look to copy when it's cap locked here. And you would write all these down and rewrite them. And then also look at their images. They do a solid job at images. Like conveying images for a supplement is not easy. So they do a great job. So if you want to look at some of those, these are the types of images you're looking in the blackhead. So this one says NeuroPeak Brain Support Supplement, Memory, Focus, and Clarity Formula, nootropic, scientifically formulated for optimal performance. And then it lists some of the ingredients. This is a pretty solid actual listing. It reads well, and then at the end it lists the supplements or the actual ingredients, which I think is pretty good. So in general, they did a solid job. This is the kind of job that you actually want to do, as opposed to the crap that we were seeing in the blackhead suction vacuum. But that is a good sign for you, because if you're going to do that, there's terrible listings. We saw the bad pictures. We saw the bad titles. We saw the bad bullets. So that's a fantastic sign if you're actually going to do that niche. So let's go ahead and jump into now. We've gone through the launch section. let's talk about and how to prep our listing and as well as find our images. Let's talk about what truly makes the algorithm tick and how we're going to rank on page 1 of Amazon. And in order to do that, I want you to think of Amazon as a funnel where we're getting people to come in through the funnel through search. They are traffic and they do all sorts of things that engage with our listing so that it looks like they're interested to buy or they buy. And that starts with the traffic. Traffic is king on Amazon. If you can generate traffic specifically from a third-party site that's reputable, Amazon will reward you, and they'll reward you huge. And if you can get those people to add to cart, that is a sign of buyer intent or somebody that wants to buy something. So Amazon also rewards that. And finally, it rewards that and you generate sales as a result of all these three. So this is the act of generating sales velocity. That's making sales. And you can manufacture this. And the way that you manufacture this is through the use of a tool called giveaways, which we're going to discuss here in a second. But keep in mind, before we move forward, that nowadays on Amazon, you don't need as many reviews before you turn on your pay-per-click advertising or in order to just sell well. You can sell well with very little reviews. So don't be afraid of some niches where it looks like people are worlds ahead of you. So let's talk about giveaways and what giveaways are. Giveaways is nothing more than offering a deep discount for your product so that people will buy it, thus generating that sales velocity, which ranks you on page 1. Now, there's also a special type of giveaway called a brand rebate, where it's, think of like when your mom used to send UPCs out to Tide and she would get reimbursed for the product. It does the same exact thing. It reimburses you for buying a product. And a lot of companies do this. It's very common in Amazon. So in order to find your own giveaway groups, what you want to do is you want to go to Facebook and you want to type Amazon giveaways. And we're going to do this live here in a second. And I want you to remember the purpose of a giveaway group is not to get reviews. It's to generate sales velocity so that you can rank on page 1. So as a byproduct, if you happen to get a review, that's fantastic, but don't expect it as it's pretty much prohibited in many of these groups. So let's jump in to Facebook and take a look at what I'm talking about. So if I jump on over into Facebook and I type Amazon giveaway, you'll see that there's all these groups. And if I click into this one, what you'll notice is here's the rules of the group. Pay close attention to those because you can get kicked out. Notice it's not a review group. But if we scroll on down, you'll start to notice there's a lot of people offering coupon codes for these actual products. Here's a handgun case, 80% off. Here's some kind of lights, 80% off. And here's some kind of tongs, $2.59. So there's lots of deals on here. Now, my very good friend Angelo, who has sold as much as $250,000 in a day, what he actually used to do is he would go to these groups, pay attention to who was actually taking these deals, and then private message them and offer them his actual product. And this will work. Just keep in mind, Facebook often has limitations of the amount of people you can actually message in any given day. So just be aware of that and know that there could be a chance that you get blocked from being able to message anybody. So let's talk now about the automated way to do this. Now, I've used one of these services quite a while back. It was over 2 years ago. I used Six Leaf. It used to be Zonblast, and it worked pretty good. I can't complain. They basically gave away several pieces of my product, and I got onto page 1. So that is one service you can use. It's called Six Leaf. And while I've never used Viral Launch, I do use their market intelligence tool that you've already seen me use in this training. So they are a very reputable actually tool builder, so I imagine their service is pretty good. So I do highly recommend Market Intelligence, and I would probably try Viral Launch, but they will take care of the entire giveaway process for you. Now, the tool that I actually been using lately for all my launches that's been working exceptionally well is a tool called sellerlaunch.io, and sellerlaunch.io helps me with all of those services, giveaway and ranking, and they make my entire Amazon business completely outsourced. So I have used them recently and I do highly recommend them. Check out these services as they take care of all of this for you. So now that we know how to launch a product, how to get it on page 1, and how to keep it there, let's talk about the automation and what we can do in our business in order to manage our product and make sure it stays on page 1. Because after all, this is exactly why we became an entrepreneur, right? For the freedom, for the lifestyle, for being able to travel, spend time with our family, and being able to buy whatever the heck we want whenever we want, right? So let's jump into the automation And I like to call this the elbow grease automation method, which is the way that you would take if you're on a budget. And this is exactly how I started. So the first thing we're going to learn about is my pay-per-click system and how I execute that. I'm going to show you how I collect data and use this data in order to become a better Amazon seller. I'm going to talk about how we manage our reputation, not only as a seller, but also with our product. I'm going to talk about the ways that we promote our product if it grows stale or gets stuck somewhere in the algorithm. And then I'm going to talk about how we manage inventory so that we never run out and our sales machine is running 24/7, 365 days a year. So let's first jump into pay per click, or PPC as it's commonly called. And PPC is nothing more than when your ad shows to people, and I'll show you an example of ads here in a second, somebody clicks on it. You have to pay for that click. And it depends on the niche how expensive it can get. But I'm going to show you my simple two-step system to setting up a PPC campaign. And it's as simple as creating 2 campaigns using what Amazon suggests. So the first campaign is an automatic, and it's pretty simple. You enter a bid amount, you enter the product you want to run the actual traffic to, and you let Amazon handle all the words for you. You don't do anything. That's all you enter. The second one is a little bit more time intense. It's a manual campaign. And what you're going to do with a manual campaign is you're going to look at all the words that Amazon suggests. You're going to enter a bid, and you're going to remove the words that you don't think are related to your listing. And if you happen to come across a bunch of words that just don't make sense, there could be a chance that you have to go back to the optimization stage and make sure that everything that is in there is relevant to your product and that your product just makes sense. So now, after entering these campaigns and starting them up, you want to let them run about 5 days. And within those 5 days, if you're not getting any impressions, that means you have to up your bid. Now, once you start getting impressions, what you want to do is you want to start pausing words that have 10 clicks or more and 0 sales. It means they're not working. So move on and look for the other words to grow upon. Now, there is a term that is used very commonly in Amazon. It's called ACOS, or advertising cost of sales. And it's nothing more than the relationship between the product sales and your cost of advertising. So it comes out as a percentage. And the way I want you to look at it, this is it. You have to figure out what your break-even ACOS is in order to optimize your campaigns. And it's actually very simple. The way that you'll do it is by using a tool that we showed earlier called the FBA calculator. I use the FBA calculator, and I want to figure out what my profit margin is on every product I sell. So let me show you how we'd go about and do that. So let's go ahead and do FBA calculator, and I'm going to type suction vacuum, and I'm going to pick any one of these. So we got this one. We know it sells for about $29.99, and we know that we can get it shipped probably from Amazon for about $12. So it was about $11, I think as low as $10, so we'll say 11. We'll calculate, and what we stand to get after all Amazon fees, which includes our selling commission fees that we pay to Amazon, 15%, the shipping fees, and our actual cost of the product, we're going to get $11.06 per sale, or 36.88 net margin. So this is exactly what we use over here. 36.88 would be our margin. So what that means is if our margin is 36.88, our break-even ACOS is 36.88. So when we start to get data from our actual PPC campaigns, we are looking to optimize our campaign at 36.88% ACOS. If we hit that ACOS, we are break even. So you might be wondering, why do I want to run at break even? Why wouldn't I run profitably? Well, the simple answer to that is, if you remember, the holy grail of the algorithm is traffic. And that includes traffic internally. So the more traffic that you generate your product, the more you are rewarded organically from Amazon. So my goal with my actual products are to run break even at PPC so that I can generate more and more organic sales. So I usually shoot for break even ACOS. If you want to shoot for profitable ACOS, then subtract whatever percentage you want to be profitable. So if you want to have a 10% profit margin on all your PPC sales, shoot for 26.88% ACOS in this case. So what I basically do is I go and take a look at every single one of my terms, my keywords, and I look to lower my bid by 25% if I'm not at the break-even point. If I'm anywhere above that break-even point, I start to lower my bid. Then I let it run for another 7 days and continue to lower it between 25 and 20% until I hit break-even or whatever my target is. And that's pretty much it. That's a quick and easy method to PPC. So let's quickly jump into Amazon and take a look at a couple of the different PPC campaigns that I'm talking about here. And we'll go ahead and just use the one we've been using, Blackhead Remover. And these right here are standard pay per click ads that I'm talking about setting up. We can't tell if they're automatic or manual on our end, but in the back end, you can see if you're running these. And right up here is a headline sponsored ad, which is another type of ad that you can learn to run as well. But I just kind of want to make you aware of what these were. This is the type of ads I'm talking about right now, and these we'll talk about later in the promotion section. All right, so we know how to set up our PPC. Let's now talk about the data we should be looking at collecting every single day. There is a term called KPI, which is Key Performance Indicators, which help you be able to manage your business and improve your business. So you should be collecting certain data from Amazon every single day. And this is the data that we collect in-house. And we can do this the bootstrap method, which means you have to go in there, or the automated method, which I'll show you later. So we need to record the date, the amount of sales, the unit session percentage, which means the conversion rate, the sessions, which is the amount of people that are visiting your product daily, the number of units ordered, and how much inventory you have on hand every single day. And in order to do this, you're going to go to the report section in Amazon. And so it's basically reports, business reports by ASIN on the left-hand side. And you'll filter this by your ASIN and the date. And it's pretty much that simple. All this information will be available on that. And again, this is something that you can do either manually or you can do it the automated method, which I'll show you in a second. So let's jump into how we manage the reputation of ourselves, which is the seller, as well as our product. We'll need to keep track of the following and stay on top of it. The first is total product reviews. So we'll want to know how many 5 stars, how many 3 stars, and so forth, how many 1 stars, and if we just recently got a 5-star or if we recently got a 1-star. We'll want to make sure all our questions and answers are answered on our actual listing. We'll want to make sure that we pay close attention to our seller feedback. How are we doing as a seller? Could we do better? These are the key indicators Amazon looks at if they are to suspend your product or your seller account. We also want to look at any seller-initiated refund emails. These are basically emails notifying us that a customer asked for a refund. So we can actually email those people and find out what exactly was wrong with our product. We also want to pay close attention to customer emails. There might be some customers that need additional support from us as opposed to Amazon. And then lastly, we want to set up an email autoresponder so that we can get these seller feedbacks and product feedbacks automatically. And this is a tool you definitely will need to get. Something like Feedback Genius or similar, and that is nothing more than an email autoresponder that automatically sends out emails to your customer requesting feedback for your performance. You never want to ask for a review, you want to ask for feedback on how you're doing. And so Feedback Genius is one tool that I highly recommend every single person out there get. So let's talk about promos and what we do when our product grows stale, because let's face it, we can't afford to do giveaways all the time. So we want to be able to rotate a promo in there. So these are the following promos that I've actually used in the past. The first is lightning deals, which I'm going to show you where those pop up and why they're important. You can also use coupons. I'll also show you how you can discount your product with a percentage and or a dollar amount. And then there's the % off coupons for giveaways, which we already saw in the giveaway groups. We saw that several had a very specific coupon for a very large discount. And then finally, there's headline search ads, which we already talked about earlier. Those you would set up very similar to what we did already with PPC. So let's jump in and look at lightning deals and coupons. And finally, there is also Facebook ads to your Amazon page. So remember, Amazon loves external traffic, particularly external traffic from a reputable site. And Facebook is on the list of reputable sites. So let's look at the lightning deals and coupons. And to do that, we'll want to Google Gold Box deals on Amazon. And here are the lightning deals for the day. And what you're going to notice is they all have timers on them, as well as it'll show you how many people have claimed the actual deal. So I'm going to click on this one here, and you're going to notice it's a set of remote controllers for the PS4, and that 67% of people have already claimed this deal, which right now is $11.89, which is a pretty darn good deal, right? Normally $29.99, but you can get it right here for $11.89. Now, what this does is it shows scarcity in this deal because only 67% have already been claimed, so only 33% is left. And it shows that the price is usually a lot higher, like $29.99, $13.99. You get a whole $2.10. I would probably recommend they raise this price higher so it looks like it's a better deal. But in general, you save 15% on this thing. And so this is where the gold box deals or lightning deals pop up. So you can actually get your product listed here and selling as an actual lightning deal. And so now let's take a look at the coupons. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into Amazon, and I'm going to search turmeric. And for turmeric, we're going to notice that there is going to be some coupons on here somewhere. Here is a 5% coupon. So you save 5% when you buy that. Here is save $3 off and save $2 off. Now I can tell you this much. From all the coupons I've run, the dollar amount pounces on the percentage. So test it yourself, but I think you're going to find that dollar amount works a lot better. And so that's an example of all the different coupon and promos you can run on Amazon. And again, when your product grows stale, think about running one of these in order to make it pop back up. So let's go to the next thing that we're going to need to make sure that we pay close attention to, and that is inventory and reordering. Because remember, if you run out of inventory, you're screwed for a certain amount of days. You will not make any money. So make sure you stay on top of this. And so the first thing that you're going to need in order to stay on top of this is you're going to need to know your average daily amount of sales. So keep that in mind. Know the transit time from the supplier to Amazon, meaning when it gets from China into the Amazon warehouse ready for sale. You're also going to need to know your manufacturing time. So you're going to need to figure out how long does it usually take your supplier to manufacture, and then you're going to want to know the time of year. And I'll give you an example of why that's important here in a second. And you're going to want to have inventory, enough inventory to cover all of the above. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're averaging 10 sales per day and your manufacturing time is approximately 30 days with your transit time 20. So what you need to do is take that 30 and that 20, add them up, that's 50, multiply by 10, and that means you need 500 units should be your reorder point. But that doesn't include buffer time. Let's say the time of year is just middle of the summer. You don't really need too much buffer, but I would say you probably want to keep on hand an additional 100 units just in case. But if that time of year is Chinese New Year or right before Christmas, you better just forget about it. You're not going to get it on time unless you probably reorder at 1,000 units. So keep those things in mind and pay close attention to them and monitor them and just continue to get better and better every single time that you reorder. So the other thing you can do on Amazon is set a reorder point, an alert on there. So it'll show up on Amazon as a little red bell, and it will also email you when you've hit that point where you need to reorder. And this can be invaluable because it can really save you from screwing up the reordering process. Okay, so now let's talk about total automation and how you can really use total automation so that you don't have to do any of this. And the first is through the use of PPC. So we talked about having to set up campaigns. I got to tell you guys something, and gals, there is a tool out there called Zon.Tools that will set up campaigns for you, and you can just allow it to automate the whole process. Now, I still like a hands-on approach, so I don't use it that often, but I have used it in the past, and I do highly recommend it, especially for the lazier marketers out there or the people that just don't want to have to deal with PPC. So I highly recommend it. There is also a tool that I use pretty often called PPC Scope that helps you optimize things. So it has a lot of already filters built in, so you don't really have to do much of the spreadsheet work. And my team uses PPC Scope on a daily basis to optimize my campaign. So I highly recommend it. I would use it for total automation. The other things that you'll want to use for data collection are you can have a sales dashboard that kind of breaks everything down. Instead of actually going to have to look in the reports, business reports feature, this shows you everything just right in front of you. I personally use Hello Profit. I love it. It's one of my favorite tools, but I know a lot of other people that use a product called Managed by Stats, and I can't even spell there, so that shows you how much I use that product, but I still hear it's pretty great. So that will also manage the data just like Hello Profit. It'll also tell you really cool data if you get into, like, really get deep into Amazon and you want to offer like your product to the existing Amazon customers. It will help you download their information and load it up into Facebook as a custom audience, and it'll give you the information of people that have bought multiple times from you. Now, for reputation management, I like to use Feedback Genius. There are several tools out there that will do the same thing, but I just actually prefer to use Feedback Genius. For promotion, I don't really use that much. I just use VAs or virtual assistants in the Philippines and or the USA. They can pretty much handle the setup of lightning deals and things like that. It's not that difficult. For inventory and management, again, I use Hello Profit. As I said before, it's one of my favorite tools. I use it every single day. And I also use Amazon. And the last things that I forgot to put in here are next level tools. There is one that I use called seller.tools. It's just an advanced tool that does a lot of different things for Amazon. I use that pretty often, and it's quite complicated. I still haven't even dug into the real intricacies of using that. And the other thing that I forgot to enter into here, for accounting, I use a tool called, I believe it's, and this goes to show you how often it is. It is, all right, so it's A2X accounting, and I use that in conjunction with Xero so that my accountant can just quickly log in and figure things out for me, because I don't do any accounting. I suck at accounting completely. So this is a breakdown of total automation and how you would completely automate your business. And I hope you enjoyed the simple 4-step process to dominating Amazon. It's pretty much the way I built my business and the way that I continue to run my business, and I will continue to launch products using this actual process. Bottom line is it works. I've been able to completely hands-off run my business and automate it to the point where I really work 10 minutes a month. And I actually forgot to tell you guys what that 10 minutes is spent. That 10 minutes a month is spent wiring money to my supplier for my Amazon product. And I'll be honest with you, the reason that I have not outsourced that is I tried before, and the guy that I outsourced that to wired the money to the wrong person. So quite a big mess at that period of time, and I figured I can at least participate these 10 minutes in my actual Amazon account. But I'm pretty sure in the future I could also automate that if I wanted to. And so I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you realize the power that is Amazon.com and how you'd be missing out if you didn't partner with the richest man in the world. So don't let step 1, select, stop you from doing this. Pick a product. Don't be afraid. If it doesn't work out, guess what? You got several tries left. You can keep trying all you want. Then source it, then launch it, then automate it. And I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. Let us know how it helped. I'll be looking forward to hearing the feedback, and I'll see you guys very soon.